Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? No, no. Hey, hey, hey. Hi, hello, welcome. Hi, Ellie. Yes, you want to say hi too? Okay. Before I even introduce myself, say hi. Yes. Okay. Can we go down so I can do this? Okay. I love you. No. Welcome back. My name's Mishania. Welcome to Bookmark for Later. Do you remember me? Do you recognize this face? I have not been on here in like 6 months. I've been like replying to messages here and there, but I have not made a video since, actually it might have been more than 6 months. I think my last video was in August. I apologize, first of all. Like, I've seen a lot of comments commenting on videos, which is great. Thank you so much. A lot has been going on. I went back to work full time, I think, right like late August, early September. I started working with a mutual aid. I'm still doing school. I was on break for the winter, obviously, but I'm still doing school. And then just like a lot has been on my plate. I got like taken with social media. I was on Instagram. You can follow me at bookmarksforlater.com. Bookmark.for.later. But the biggest reason why I'm not here is because I no longer have access to the Adobe suite, which means that I no longer have access to the video editor that I was using. And so I've just been like, not even like motivated to make a video to go and try to use iMovie to make edits. My school gave us free access to the Adobe suite once the pandemic started, but then like took it away at some point, which I completely understand. So here I am making my first video since then, hoping that iMovie does not give me grief. Anyway, so another thing which you might have noticed, I moved. Some of you might know that I live in Brooklyn. I am still in Brooklyn, thankfully. I moved a couple of streets over to a bigger place with my best friend. So, please get away. There's like a gnat or a fly or something. Definitely great upsides to this apartment, but I will say that it is not conducive to making videos. Is that how you use that word? Anyway, I live right like below a train. It's like above subway station. So you might hear a lot of noise from the trains going by. You will also typically hear, as usual, Ellie's like little collar hanging around, but also my best friend has 2 cats. So you might hear that. And also you might see some struggles between Ellie and the cats because 2 cats and a dog, that's to be expected. Moving on. So in one of my videos, the tier ranking one, I saw a lot of comments asking me for book recommendations, like m/book recommendations, and I thought, why not? But I am going to do this in parts because I do not want to present you with a 20-minute long video. I am going to start off with recommending authors that I really like and moving on to series that I really like, and then my favorite books that I reread. That list will be short only because I do not tend to reread books at all or rewatch movies at all. It has to be like really like there's something in this book that I am just so taken with that I can't find in other books, or there's just something about it, you know? So anyway, let's get started with authors that I really highly recommend. I'm starting off with my trusty little list. I'm definitely in a different place now than I was when I first started reading m/romances. Not like in terms of like, oh, I've grown as a person, but in terms of like the books that I was reading when I first started and the books that I'm reading now. So I'm gonna start off with the authors that I was reading when I first started because I loved those books and it really like kind of it helped to sink its teeth into me and continue reading m/, but I might not really do a one-click on these authors anymore. Like I'll still revisit them, but it's not like, oh, I need their book right now. So I'll start off with those authors. First on my list are Lucy Lennox and Sloane Kennedy. So they're separate authors of each other. They're not the same person using different names, but Lucy Lennox and Sloane Kennedy do a lot of work together. They have a lot of books together. So I would recommend them both together because they have a lot of stuff together, but also like they kind of have similar styles, but also you're getting different things from each of them. So Lucy Lennox, off the top of my head, I can't remember a series. Lucy Lennox wrote IRL, in real life, and I can't remember what that series was. Sloane Kennedy has a series of series. So she has, I think, about like 4 or 5 series that are interwoven together. I think I discussed this in the tier ranking. I will link in the description box the page where she has a reading order set up because it's really good. And it's a lot of books, which was great for my first like foray into M/, because I think it's like 25 books long. So it takes you a while to get through. My next person that I started reading early on was Alexis Hall. I am not where there's an Alexis or an Echo, so it doesn't trigger her anymore. That's in my room and I'm in the living room. So there's a train passing. So Alexis Hall, I started with their book For Real. I think it's called For Real. In terms of recommendation, I would highly recommend the Heart and Scent Eyes series. For Real is great. Definitely read that. And I think it's in a series that I, for the life of me, did not know for the longest time. I think I recently realized like, oh, this is in a series. Had no idea. Next one on my list is R.G. Alexander. I read their Fin Factor series. I don't know if they have any other books. No, they do. They have another spin-off series. I think 2 other spin-off series if I'm correct. But I started with the Fin Factor series. There's a lot of books in that series as well, so that was great. Then Eden Finley. I think Eden Finley and Sloane Kennedy happened around the same time, so it was like way back when. Eden Finley has this Fate Boyfriend series that I really, really liked, and I think there's actually 2 books that was recently released, maybe like in the past 6 months, that I haven't read, so I need to return to that. So those are my my authors that I started when I first started. So now on to my one-click authors now, like the authors that like I don't even need to read the summary or be told about this book or know anything about anything, and I will immediately buy, download, whatever. So first on my list, which I think is typical for a lot of people who read M/. Bless you. You okay? As I was saying, typical for a lot of M/ romance readers, TJ Klune, one-click author. Green Creek series is where it's at. And also, oh my gosh, is it Tell Me That It's Real? I don't know if that's a series name, but that's a book in that series. I'll leave the name of the series here. That book was hilarious. Even more so because I listened to the audiobook, which is strange because I don't normally like listen to the audiobook. But the person who did Tell Me That's Real, or Tell Me It's Real, did a really good job. Next one on my list is Avril Ashton. Listen, when I tell you I ride for Avril Ashton, main thing is Avril Ashton is a Black woman. Not just because she's a Black woman, which, I mean, obviously I'm going to ride for her then, but because her books are just good and she has a lot of them. This woman knows how to write a good steamy scene, and she like hits a lot of different like tropes and a lot of like preferences in the bedroom. Yeah, her stuff is just good. I started off with the Run This Town series, Watch Me Break You, having no idea like about anything else, and then I think I had gotten to the end of that series and I was getting sad, and I'm like a part of like 2 M/ Facebook groups, book recommendation Facebook groups, and somebody mentioned a book that she had written, and I'm like, you know what, let me just go on her website and see what this is about. And then I discovered all these other series that are interwoven with Run This Town that were previous to Run This Town. So I started from the top and then I went back down, and then there were all these other series after Run This Town. It was a good time. It was such a good time. She's the only person that I've subscribed to on Patreon because I just love her, and she has like a lot of good content. She like steadily releases chapters on Patreon. So if you have some extra coins and you want to follow somebody on Patreon, I would highly recommend her. Next on my list is Neve Wilder. I think it's Wilder. Neve Wilder. She has a series, Extracurricular Activities, which is based in college, following like roommates or friend adjacent roommates. That is just chef's kiss. It's so good. The first book in that series is so good. If you read these books that I'm recommending, you will see my taste. I don't need to go into details, but you'll know my taste, and maybe they're yours, maybe they're for you, maybe they're not, but I love that series. She's definitely a one-click author for me. Another one-click author that I think most people will agree with me, Alexandra Hazard. There's just some people who are gifted at writing certain scenes, and she's one of them, but she's also like a good storyteller because she comes up with these worlds and does a good job of showing you, you know? And I think a lot of times when I don't like a book is because they're telling me, they're not showing me. And she does a good job of that. She does a good job of showing you what she's trying to tell you and what she's trying to make you feel and realize. So I love her. I started with a Kaluvia's Royalty, I think. But she also has like another series that's not intertwined with that. And then there's a spin-off series from the Kaluvia's Royalty. If you're new to her, I am so jealous because I wish I could just like read all her stuff for the first time. It's that good. Then finally, I recently discovered through Neve Wilder, Omni James, because they have a series together called Wages of Sin, which is really good. But Omni James also has a series called The Protectors, I think it's called, which I really, really like. So yeah, those are my 11 author recs. I will leave the list here just in case you want to pause and take a screenshot or whatever. As I said, this is part 1. Part 2 will probably feature series that I really like. And then part 3 will feature the small list of books that I read over and over again. I hope this was helpful. I will try not to have months in between videos, but I'm glad that you're here, and welcome to all the new followers. I see you. Thank you so much. I will see you later. Bye.